It's September and this is the Library Roadshow. On the show today, art and authors. So many authors. Welcome to the September edition of the Library Roadshow. I'm Mary Stein, and this is a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. This month, the library is brought to you by the letters W, X, Y, and Z. So there are a lot of letters to share, which means lots of books and authors. We'll hear from Dr. Press Robinson Sr. when he shares his new book, Pressing Forward, at the book premiere on Sunday, September 15th. Later in September, columnist and essayist Ed Cullen will share his own Letter in a Woodpile with readers, and we'll hear about author Jerry Pallotta, our featured presenter with the 47th Annual Author Illustrator Series, in a moment. International Read and eBook Day with Libby is September 18th, but as far as I'm concerned, every day is Read and eBook Day. And many of you agree, since for the past few years, you've read more than 1 million ebooks each year. We'll celebrate Talk Like a Pirate Day in September, but September is also Library Card Sign-Up Month. And that gives me the perfect opportunity to remind all our parents out there that we need you to contact the library to authorize your child's library card so we can get them out of block status. It's free and easy. Of course, September means programs for adults on gardening, organizing, writing, crafts, hobbies, and games, health and wellness, badging, small business, and career help, plus story times back for the kiddos, and all manner of things for teens and 20-somethings. We're even hosting All Paws on Deck, as well as a children's business bazaar. You can register to vote during the week of September 16th at libraries all over the parish. Plus, we're signing folks up to attend our new October series, The Bill of Obligations, The 10 Habits of Good Citizens. And keeping in a red, white, and blue spirit, you can expect to see some tea tossed into the bay. The Baton Rouge Concert Band presents Prancing, Dancing, and Reflecting at their concert on the last Sunday of the month. And I'd sure like to see those tubas dance and prance. The Kids Orchestra brings books and music to children throughout the library system, and Rick Kelly tours the parish with Good Vibrations, the science behind making music. That'll get us ready for our Maker Faire in October. The Baton Rouge Room will focus on the vibrant and colorful art of Clementine Hunter during their monthly lecture series. And finally, your East Baton Rouge Parish Library is 85 years young. Can you believe that you've checked out over 123 million books? And staff have answered more than 9 million questions since we first opened? You've walked through our doors more than 60 million times just since I first started work at the library. And we've logged in more than 50 million database users in the last 25 years. But numbers don't really tell the story. Check out the Libraries Change Lives episode each month to see how the library is making an impact and delivering positive outcomes in our community. And look for cake at a library near you. Read all about it in this month's issue of The Source, available in print or online, or log in to the online calendar on the front page of the library's website, ebrpl.com.
Free access to books, audio, and library resources are just a few of the benefits available to you when you get a library card. Need free access to a computer? You get that. Want free access to premium digital resources like Mango Languages and lynda.com? You get that. Need to book a meeting space? You get that. Heck, you can even check out a telescope or use a digital printer with your library card. If you live in East Baton Rouge Parish, pick up your free library card from your local branch library today. Premium access to everything the library system has to offer is waiting for you.
Keeping up with our Books and Authors theme this month and acknowledging that school is back in session, let's take a look at one of our favorite literature reference series, now available remotely with just the press of a key. It's time to find out more in the digital download.
Bloom's Literature is a rich resource which is aimed at K through 12 students. It features relevant content on core authors and works, multicultural classics, contemporary literature, and more. It contains over 7,000 authors, from Hemingway to Morrison to Shakespeare. Students will find exactly what they need for research and deeper learning without having to wade through internet searches. Bloom's Literature also includes a literary classics ebook shelf containing the full contents of more than 1,000 classic works of literature. You'll also find more than 1,300 full-length videos, including great performances of literary works, including Hamlet starring David Tennant, Julius Caesar starring John Gielgud, and The Glass Menagerie starring Katharine Hepburn. These performances engage students and make the literature come to life. Bloom's Literature features specific student-friendly guidance on how to write good essays on the most assigned authors and works, offering students strategies and ideas on how to add an extra dimension to their writing. This is a great resource for teachers as well. To find more resources for students, visit the digital library at ebrpl.com.
You know, I've recommended the Bloom's Literature series to students for decades, but with our limited number of print copies, the early bird always got the worm. Students would miss out when a more energetic student got to the library first and checked them all out. With this database, the info your students need is always available.
My name is Alka Joshi. I am an author. I live in Monterey, California, but I'm originally from India. And my family left India when I was 9 years old. So I have a mix of two different cultures. And I think that that comes across in the writing. It's really a wonderful thing to be able to sort of highlighting aspects of both cultures that the other one may not be aware of. So today we are here at the Baton Rouge Library, and I'm going to be making a presentation to your patrons, your library patrons, and whoever might be interested in reading about The Henna Artist. The Henna Artist is a story of a young woman who is finding her own independence at the same time that India is finding its independence. So the story takes place in the 1950s. And the idea is that there's a young woman who wants very much to live a life of her own. She wants to make the decisions that are going to make her life absolutely fabulous. And she can't do it within the societal constraints that she lives in. I wanted to write The Henna Artist because I wanted to give women who are being raised in a very traditional culture an opportunity to see what could happen if they didn't have to live within those constraints. What would happen if they allowed themselves to be whomever they wanted to be and to make the decisions that are going to determine the rest of their lives. I think writing found me. I never intended to become a writer. That really wasn't in my game plan at all. It wasn't something that I did because I wrote journals, you know, when I was a kid, or wrote short stories. But it was my husband who said, I think you can be a writer. I didn't listen to him for 16 years. Then all of a sudden, the economy changed in 2008. And I was left with 2 years while the economy recovered, in which I thought, what am I going to do in these 2 years? My clients in my business, advertising and marketing, were going away because there was, you know, huge economic pressure to cut costs and so on. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll listen to my husband for the first time, and I will actually enroll in a Master's of Fine Art in Creative Writing. Maybe I can write a novel. Who knows? And I did. When we first came to the United States, I didn't know anybody, of course, and I found a lot of comfort in libraries. Books allowed me to inhabit worlds that I couldn't you know, just because I'm not in those worlds, but it allowed me to get lost in other worlds when the world that we had just gotten into, the United States, was so foreign to me.
What can I say? This was just a marvelous program. Alka was so gracious and entertaining, and the entire audience hung on every word. And of course, books and ebooks keep flying off our shelves. Thanks to everyone who made this special program possible. Stay right there. After the break, Tara Deering joins me for a chat, right here on the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that preparing children to enter kindergarten is good for us all. That's why we created Press Start, an early learning initiative that provides a free activity booklet every month that explores early literacy skills through play and interaction at home. Get a library card. Sign up for Press Start at ebrpl.com/kids.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
You're watching the September edition of the Library Roadshow, everything you need to know about your local library system. Now, Tara, I've mentioned author after author already in the show, but I feel like I should say, but wait, there's more, because you're announcing our 47th annual Author Illustrator Series. So, who's the guest?
It's Jerry Pallotta. He is a wonderful nonfiction writer. He loves to write books that attract lots of reluctant readers, and they range from nonfiction counting books. He's got 30 of those. 25.
It's hard to make a counting book fun, but he can do it.
He definitely does it. He definitely does it. And then, of course, his Who Would Win series.
I just like saying, who would win?
Yeah.
You're holding alligator versus python. I don't know.
I don't know which one would win. You'd have to read. But, and then he also has a math literacy series as well. So he has lots of different types of nonfiction books that can attract lots of different children.
So all different ages too,
All different
whether
ages.
they're independent readers or a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Homeschoolers use these, teachers use these.
Absolutely.
And like you said, reluctant readers will pick
Yes.
them up and they'll be sucked in.
Yes.
They won't be able to put these books
Yeah, and
down.
fabulous photos in them, and that attracts a lot of them. But those photos then have them reading
That's
before
right,
long.
because you sneak in words in the captions,
That's
and they
right.
think they're not reading, but they are.
They are.
So that's my favorite thing, stealth learning. Well, what is the game plan for this year? Because it's more than one event.
It is. It's actually 3 events. So the first thing that we're going to have is that Thursday morning on the 26th, we're going to have a virtual school trip. So the students at all the classes and all the schools will have the opportunity to dial in and watch his virtual presentation.
So he'll be live.
He'll be
in
live.
front of the kids in our region. Any
Yes.
teacher, any school librarian who wants to take part, what do they need to do?
All they have to do is call in and register. They can also sign up online in our events calendar, and we'll send them the link once it's set up.
Okay, so, and this is free.
It is. It's completely 100% free.
So this will be a virtual field trip for
It
all the
is.
kids, and that way we
Exactly.
can reach hundreds and hundreds. Now he's actually spoken to more than 1 million kids.
Yes. 2 million kids, actually, and over 4,000 schools.
Well, let's add
That's a
some
lot.
more to his list.
Yes.
All right, so that's Thursday morning. Then what happens Thursday night?
So Thursday night, he'll have a family-focused presentation. So we invite all the families to come out to the main library here at Goodwood and enjoy a live presentation with him. They can purchase some of his books. He'll be more than happy to sign them for them, and then they can stick around and have take a picture with him.
He's very generous with his time.
He is. He's very personable.
That's right. And then Friday morning, we switch gears and get something for the older crowd.
Yeah, we switch gears to more of a professional leaning presentation. So this one is more appropriate for school teachers.
Me. It's appropriate for me.
Literature enthusiasts.
That's right.
Children's literature enthusiasts, librarians, students even come to this Friday presentation as well.
And people who are interested in writing for children.
Yes.
And that whole craft of writing.
Yes.
Because they'll get to see and hear from Jerry about his story and how he brings a book to life.
Right, what inspires him, where his journey has taken him, and where maybe his journey is heading.
So do you need to register for that?
You do have to register for it. All you have to do is send me an email at tdearing, that's TDEARING, at ebrpl.com. Or you can also call here at the main library in the children's room, and you can sign up.
All right. Well, so how do we find out more? Because, I mean, here he is on the cover of the newsletter, but wait, there's more.
Yes, there's more.
So y'all have flyers. You have a link on the website that
we have these little brochures they can pick up pretty soon. We also have the save the dates until, the save the dates are available until the brochures come from the printer, which should be any day now. And so lots of ways to sign up, lots of ways to get information. And if all else fails, just call the main library. We'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks. You know, I always learned so much about the craft of writing and illustrating children's books from each of the authors and illustrators that you bring in each year. And you can bet I'm going to be stocking up on my own Who Would Win books to give the grandkids for Christmas.
Yes.
After the break, we'll hear from author Shelley Jinks Johnson and have a visit to one of our branches to check out a new group using library meeting room space. All that and more coming up next on the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that supporting the education of students is good for us all. That's why we provide access to live, in-person, online tutoring through Homework Louisiana, make available free test preparation tools through Learning Express, plus reference tools for all ages. Get a library card. Get free education at ebrpl.com/homeworkhelp.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to the September edition of the Library Roadshow. My next guest is a poet, entrepreneur, maker, and performer from Alexandria, Louisiana. She has a background in business and brand building. She plays in a band called The Setups and stays deeply engaged with the thriving local arts community in her hometown. Shelley Jinks Johnson joins me now to discuss her latest book entitled Pretty Little Widow. Shelley, how'd you get your start as an author?
I began writing as grief therapy after losing my husband to brain cancer. I began journaling when he was ill and I was his primary caregiver. And then after he passed away, I began writing poetry, which then led to me collecting those poems into a collection. So my first collection of poetry is Pretty Little Widow, and it is a journey through grief. There's a section of poems on loss. There's a section on grieving, on love, and then there's a section of poems on living, which is a collection of hopeful poems that show that you can survive serious loss and make it through your journey of grief.
What has inspired you to write this book?
I was inspired to write the book because of my own journey through grief, starting with the time that my husband became ill, through his death, and then the aftermath when I had to learn how to put my life back together after such a great loss.
What advice would you give to another aspiring author?
My best advice to give aspiring authors would be to read as much as you can in the genre that you are wanting to write and publish in, and continue to read and explore. That does wonders to broaden your vocabulary and to give you a sense of how to develop your craft, and then just get to writing. You can't do anything, you can't learn and you can't improve unless you get to doing the thing that you want to do. So my best advice is to read and then just write and keep writing, and then find a good editor who will be honest and help you through that creative process.
And how can our viewers learn more about you and your work?
I have a website. My website is ShellyJinksJohnson.com. You can also find me on Facebook on my author page, which is Shelly Jinks Johnson. I'm on Instagram and Threads as Pretty Little Widow. You can find my book on Amazon, and thank you for giving me some time today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Shelley. Keep on creating. Your East Baton Rouge Parish Library hosts lots of clubs, socials, and professional groups. One of our newest networking groups is called PICBR. PICBR stands for People in Credits, and they're a meetup group for folks in the film and TV production space.
My name is Shamar Milton. I am director and creative lead with PICBR, and also I run SM3D LLC. PICBR is a collaborative group of people who are established in film, who want to be part of film and everything around it, especially directing, visual effects, producing, sound, acting. And what we're trying to do is cultivate a very talented group in Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas that want to create film. Today we're at East Baton Rouge Parish Library to discuss PICBR's events such as filmmaking, strategic planning towards scripts, ideas, creation, and sometimes you run into roadblocks that we have to surpass to get to our creative altitude.
We've seen so many people come through, and we've seen literally hope come back into the eyes of creators.
The community is definitely being served by great companies here, such as Celtic, such as Movie Media. We have a whole bunch of other visual effects houses. That's Crafty Apes, Pixel Magic. And with all those houses there, it's a great amount of people that could be cultivated into filming, especially if you have that love for film. Tonight's agenda, we're actually going to talk about a lot of things that hold artists back, and that's creative imposter syndrome. And that type of thing actually hinders a lot of artists to where they don't showcase their artwork because they're scared or nervous about presenting it to other people in public or actually even online. So we're going to discuss that, or how we can get around it, or attack it head on. Especially, we're also going to talk about screenwriting tips. We're going to talk about filmmaking tips, just simple ideas like that that can actually cultivate somebody's imagination. If you're interested in film, especially PICBR, we'd love to have you. So we'd love for you to look on our Facebook page for PICBR Baton Rouge, or follow moviemedia.com, and also follow SM3DLLC.com for the next events. Tear you down for that. They're going to give you a positive critique.
We love welcoming local creative groups into the library. Since we first started counting, we've hosted more than 75,000 meetings with 1.25 million attendees. So welcome to the family. Stay right there. You're watching the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that making things is good for us all. That's why we have maker spaces at 4 locations and a 3D printing service at the main library. The maker spaces have a variety of tools and equipment to enable both creative and practical projects. This includes 3D printers, sewing machines, audio-visual gear, and much more. Get a library card. Get free access to maker spaces at ebrpl.com/makerspaces.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Access to data is good for us all. That's why we provide free online access to data access reference solutions. Get a library card. Get access to data at ebrpl.com/digital.
You're watching the September edition of the Library Roadshow, a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. Michael Hingson, New York Times best-selling author of Thunderdog, made a pit stop in Baton Rouge recently and shared the remarkable story of how he and his guide dog survived the terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center on 9/11.
New York Times best-selling author Michael Hingson is stopping by the main library at Goodwood today to talk about surviving 9/11 with his guide dog, his book Thunderdog, and about the importance of diversity and inclusion to the blind community. Let's check it out.
I want you to meet my colleague. Come here, you. This is Alamo. I have a New York Times bestseller book called Thunderdog. I also have a new book. I'm going to give you 2 copies of that. It's a new book coming out next month called Live Like a Guide Dog, True Stories from a Blind Man and His Dogs About Being Brave, Overcoming Adversity, and Walking in Faith, which is really to teach people how they can learn to control fear and not let it, as I put it, blind you or overwhelm you, such as the kind of fear that we faced on September 11th. Because there were reasons why I survived and did well and escaped and didn't exhibit a lot of fear, but I've never taught that to people after being involved as a keynote speaker for now almost 23 years. So we wrote a new book about that that's out in August 20th, and hopefully people will get it. And it also tells a lot more of my story. We did do Thunderdog in 2011, and that also told a lot about the World Trade Center story. This is a lot different than that, although September 11th, of course, is part of it. But we hope that this one will also be a #1 New York Times bestseller. The principal of our school wanted to send me off to a special school for blind kids. And they are important for all of us, and we all should take advantage of libraries and use them to learn. There's so much we can learn from libraries and the contents of libraries. It's something that way too often people don't take nearly as much advantage of as they should. And we should be not only demanding that libraries get more funding, but we should be making use of the libraries because that's where the information is.
Michael's new book, Live Like a Guide Dog, should be available in stores this September. And now for today's contest. Visit the library's Facebook page at facebook.com/ebrpl. Since it's National Library Card Sign-Up Month, show me your library cards. It's the smartest card you'll ever have. And better yet, bring someone to the library to get their own library card. I want to see those smiling faces. That's facebook.com/ebrpl. And while you're there, enjoy. We're not your grandfather's library anymore. What's coming up on the Library Roadshow in October? Maker Fair. The joint will be jumping. Thanks so much for joining us on the Library Roadshow. And remember, your East Baton Rouge Parish Library is open 7 days a week at each and every one of 14 branches, plus 24/7 on the web. Check us out at ebrpl.com.